Okay, so I was cut off, but I wanted to say that the knock came uh after successes where they said they don't want me to be able to talk freely about my successes, and they knocked. So what I'm saying is, between the first part of it where they talked about the sex parties, prostitution ring, then they switched to me. Meaning, do you notice how in their videos that I'm recording and I'm talking about them and what they're talking about. But when they're talking, they're switching back and forth. First of all, I've never been a prostitute. And again, when I use the word never, I mean like literally never. There is no exception. Um, Sex party, I've never been to a sex party. When I say never, there is no exception. Partly what I'm saying is they got really upset because they said, how could you say the word vouch when in a very early video, I think they were upset with me using the word vouch this year, and in a very early video, probably 2022, they used the word vouch. So they're upset about their own issues. So they start out with sex party, prostitution ring, which doesn't involve me, flip to me talking about my successes, and then they knock. Meaning, probably what they're communicating to one another during this, you know, thing that I'm telling you folks about is that they didn't want me to be different from them. They keep saying that. They've said in many videos, I wasn't supposed to be better than them. I wasn't supposed to be different. We had quote unquote the same upbringing, and we didn't. I mean, how can you? It's like they keep focusing on race, and I wondered, and I told you guys this so many times, that they can't accept that I'm clearly visibly foreign looking black. Every black person I've ever met has said that. I've never had one black person say, are you from such and such? No, they were always like, where are you from? You kind of resemble someone who is obviously not American looking black. So why are we now trying to change that at 50, 51? Because I was supposed to know these people from somewhere other than just in my apartment. And when they said this whole thing was trying to kind of relive my life, recreate my life, if they were doing this all along, they wouldn't have to recreate it because they would have records. And that's part of what I said when I was doing these videos. I said, I have records because hey, I collect my own stuff. I keep records of things going on, so I'm able to show you, yes, this is something that I've experienced, and I can show you proof. But also the people who they involved were around me the same time as I said. So for example, the elementary school mate would have been around me in elementary school. She has a story of someone who she thought was implying I came from Jamaica. But then she said, well, maybe the woman then said something, maybe Jamaica Queens, meaning maybe the woman was implying that I was foreign. She even admits that people thought I was foreign. The college boyfriend knew me from college. He would even admit that I had a unique look. He wouldn't call it exotic, but in the book, I'm described as exotic looking, meaning exotic they think means like a flattery. Exotic just means something that's different looking. And that's part of what I'm saying, that even the people I know are involved will admit that this is what was reality at the time. It doesn't mean it was reality in 2024, but when we were growing up, and I did an update on the age ranges because again, I would get into an argument with them. Well, what's a kid? Well, a kid isn't an infant. They use the word toddler all the time. So a kid isn't a toddler. A little child isn't really called a kid because that's a small child, a little child. A kid is a kid. I mean, when I was growing up, we didn't need all of this arguing over stuff. And that's another big deal. When they're bothered. I try not to use the word upset now. They're bothered by the reason why their terminology is shifting reality. Because when I was growing up, we already knew what a kid was. If you said look for the kid in the, I don't know, in the t-shirt, You wouldn't look for an infant. You wouldn't look for someone who's in a stroller. You would look for a kid, somebody who's old enough to walk around on his or her own, not holding anyone's hand. A kid, a kid. We wouldn't get so complicated. It wouldn't be so complicated for that. But the other thing is, by not talking about successes, I said in an earlier video, why would I have to why would I have to rely on them for help if I have a record of of success in this field? I wouldn't. But the flip side is they wouldn't have to rely on me if they had a record of success in this field. So for example, if you want to say, well, they said, oh,